An attempt to land a spacecraft on the moon apparently failed today.
And now Japan is trying again.
Japan has become the fifth country.
Japan's moon land.
Japan has made history as the fifth nation.
Japan is counting down to a precision landing.
Japan has become the world's fifth country.
Japan has finally launched the rocket carrying its lunar lander.
Japanese authorities now checking on the status of their Moon Sniper robotic explorer as it did touch down on the lunar surface in the last hour.
Japan's Moon Sniper spacecraft has marked its name in history by flawlessly landing on the surface of the moon, making Japan only the fifth country to do so. This remarkable spacecraft possesses new advanced technology that may redefine our understanding of space exploration. But between all the hype and excitement surrounding this landing, something bizarre and mysterious was noticed about the probe that got everyone talking. Turns out, this mission had a lot more to it than the world knows of. So, what are the dark secrets behind this mission? And what is its true purpose and the impact it will have on space exploration? In January 2024, Japan's Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, successfully landed its special probe, SLIM, on the lunar surface. This wonderful project started way back in 2005 with the idea of building a small lunar landing experiment satellite. This project later became one of 7 priority missions for the ISS by 2013. In April 2016, JAXA announced SLIM as their official project, with Mitsubishi in charge of its construction work. The main objective for this mission was to test a new landing technique that would allow the probe to land pinpoint on a desired location. If successful, it would help space exploration big time. SLIM's journey to the moon took about 4 months, beginning its journey alongside the Gray Imaging and Spectroscopy mission X-RISM. After separating from XRISM, SLIM changed its direction towards entering lunar orbit by 25th December 2023. After entering the lunar orbit smoothly, SLIM landed on the surface similarly, becoming one of the most perfect moon landings in the history of space exploration. If you know something about moon landings, you understand the difficulties previous moon landings have always faced, which is to land at the right spot, in the right manner. The smart landing for investigating the surface of the moon was a new concept, focusing on a new technology to help spacecraft land with more accuracy. The success or failure of this mission would indicate whether the space community has found a new way to land their spacecraft perfectly or not. Thankfully, the probe found itself landing at the right place on January 19th, marking a huge breakthrough for the space industry. Due to this huge success, the priority of NASA and other space agencies changed from landing anywhere on the moon to landing on a precise location. But there was a slight issue. Even though the probe made a soft landing, it faced a power issue due to the way it had landed. Its solar panel was facing another direction when it should have been facing the sun, leaving no way for the probe to recharge. JAXA ground team had to utilize its backup batteries to deploy 2 rovers to take measurements on the surface of the moon. Not only this, but they managed to capture some images too, thanks to the multiband spectroscopic camera mounted on the SLIM. According to the collected data from the device, the probe hadn't shown signs of any major damage upon landing. Because of this, JAXA decided to leave the probe on the lunar surface and wait patiently until the sun changed its angle to face the solar panel. If you don't know already, 1 lunar day is equivalent to 14 days on our planet, meaning that it would take approximately 14 days for the sun to rise and face the solar panels. Taking advantage of its solar power, JAXA initially planned to operate SLIM for at least 2 weeks. However, due to the unfortunate landing error, all they can do is to wait for another 2 weeks for the end of the lunar day, and for the sun to point in the direction of the solar panel, so that JAXA can utilize the probe to its maximum. The Japanese, through this mission and their remarkable technologies, have practically proved that it is possible to land on the moon with precision, and not just a normal landing, but a soft landing with remarkable accuracy. A feat no agency has managed to accomplish till now. Not even NASA. Even during the Apollo mission, NASA faced issues landing the craft on target. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin both faced extreme difficulties trying to land the spacecraft. they faced communication issues with the ground team. Additionally, all the alarms got triggered and even the automatic landing failed. Neil Armstrong had to take the matter into his own hands to land the spacecraft manually, and even with that, the craft landed in the wrong location. Even recently, the majority of attempts to land on the moon have been a failure. Most of the time, the probe crashes completely or ends up landing in the wrong location. Slim, on the other hand, managed to land on the lunar surface softly, so much so that the rovers could easily be deployed. Just to give you an idea, imagine if a rocket loses one of its engines while flying. The worst thing that could happen is it crashes and burns. The best thing is it makes an emergency landing in a nearby safe spot. Even though Japan's probe lost its part, it still landed exactly where it was supposed to. This has made Japan highly respected among the countries that have explored the moon. So far, only China has successfully landed on the moon in the 21st century. But why do spacecrafts today struggle with landing, especially when NASA was successfully landing astronauts on the moon 50 years ago? Well, some experts in science suggest possible reasons. First, during that time, there was a space race between the US and Russia. Both countries were competing with one another to show their dominance, and space was their battleground. NASA, supported heavily by the US government, invested a lot of resources to develop top-notch lunar capsules, rovers, and landers. Today, however, there isn't much competition anywhere. Every nation that attempts a lunar mission does so out of pure curiosity or to make a name for themselves. So to answer the question, spacecrafts or probes today are made out of substandard materials to keep the cost as low as possible. As groundbreaking as this technology is, something happened to the probe during its landing that nobody could figure out why. You see, the slim probe was masterfully designed to land upright. However, it ended up landing face down. Some speculate that it was due to an external force. Slim had special legs designed with crumple zones to ensure a soft landing even at higher speeds. It was supposed to land on a 15-degree slope inside an impact crater called the Scioli crater. The probe landed just 55 meters off target, precisely at the coordinates 25.2 deg east and 13.3 deg south on the slope. This location was chosen for maximum sun exposure. The rear legs of the probe were made shorter than the front ones to adjust to the slope. JAXA programmed the probe to tilt at a 45-degree angle just before landing to reduce the impact. It was equipped with 2 Mitsubishi engines and 12 thrusters for attitude control. Having multiple engines and thrusters helps in smoother landings and controlling descent speed. Slim had all the necessary equipment for a successful landing. Unfortunately, it ended up landing on its nose, and the reason for this outcome remains unknown. Now, one horrifying thought of such a bizarre event could be that extraterrestrials may be responsible for it. JAXA said it themselves that one of Slim's engines failed just prior to its landing on the moon. They say that it was caused by an external factor, implying that someone or something interfered with its engines, causing the probe to land on its face down. Some conspiracy theorists who have always believed in aliens on the moon suggest that these beings might be responsible for the crashes. So, what was the real purpose for Japan to send a probe to the moon? The most logical answer is that Japan may have sent Slim to the lunar surface to explore space-based solar power. NASA confirmed this, publishing a study on the 11th of January, examining the feasibility of setting up a solar power collection through a spacecraft in Earth's orbit and beaming that power wirelessly back home using microwaves. However, skeptics are worried about safety and the extremely high costs involved in developing and maintaining such systems. Estimates indicate that this new technology could generate power at 61 cents per kilowatt hour, which is much higher compared to the 2.2 to 5 cents per kilowatt hour typically seen in terrestrial solar plants. However, gathering solar power in orbit is a whole new game. It is the purest form of solar energy you could find. So, the idea of getting such power is attractive, because if it works, it could help the US and other countries achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions before the deadline. All in all, Japan has provided new possibilities and technologies for the world to enter a new era of space exploration. JAXA hasn't provided much information regarding the mission, but they will soon. And I guess till then, we will just have to wait. If you've reached this far, like this video, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so you never miss any of our updates. See you next time. Until then, take care.